What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
Hello, yes, welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports show, everybody. Happy to have everybody with you. We have breaking news. Actually, it happened yesterday, but it's still breaking news in our world. Papa Dude, you've joined Twitter of some sort. What do you think of Twitter so far?
Oh, that's the breaking news?
Yeah, that is.
Well, it's about like I thought it'd be. That's all right.
Let's see. Quickly, let's see how many followers you have now. Do you know?
40, maybe.
Let's see how many followers you have now.
Something like that.
As we, let's see, you've had it 2 days and you're up to 42 followers. Yes, very famous people. Kelby Von Hemel now following you. Very famous.
I got a notice on Kelby.
Yes, Michael Myers.
It's kind of fun following other people.
Yeah, I knew you would like that. You're going to start getting a lot of your news from Twitter because that's where all the reporters are, and that's how they respond. So yes, Paul is a follower of yours. Aaron Mattingly follows you. Dennis is following you. Man, look at you. Miranda.
Sylvain, whatever.
Yes, he's following you as well.
Yeah, Dr. Miranda. Yeah.
Bunch of people. Chris Plank, the world famous.
Yeah, I guess a bunch of people that don't have anything else to do, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, Magic follows you as well. So plenty of followers of Papa Dude on Twitter. If you haven't yet, he's on there, folks. Papa Dude is on Twitter, so make sure.
Well, yeah, I've put out a couple of gems and I haven't got much reaction. It's kind of disappointing. So
well, let's see. Yeah. Let's see what you did. I exited out of it here. Well, yeah, you had a take on the Mannings. You do not want to see the Mannings.
No, I just don't know what's the purpose.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be a popular one. People like that, so they're not going to.
Well, I like the Mannings a lot.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm just not into watching them tell me what's going on. I don't care.
Yeah,
okay, I'm just going to say I think it's very childish.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, you don't like it either.
I don't love it. No, I could live without it for sure.
I don't care that Eli and Peyton like each other and they pick on each other all the time. I think that's stupid, but that's just me. So
yeah, the Caleb Williams was on Good Morning America. That you were not happy about that.
No, that's the dumb. Don't you find that odd?
I didn't know why he was on. I didn't watch it, but I thought, why would he be on there? That's weird. Yes.
He's not done anything. That's what I don't understand. It's got to be there's got to be some sort of connection between USC and Good Morning America, right?
That's the only thing I can think
Robin
of.
Roberts, you know who Robin Roberts is, right?
I do.
Did she go to USC maybe? I'm thinking maybe she did.
I don't know.
And I like her too. And I like Good Morning America. I don't have a problem with it. I just thought it was odd that a college football player is on there who had never done anything.
I thought it was odd. I thought it was very odd as well. I thought you were making it up, honestly, when you said it, but you weren't. I saw like a little video clip of it.
Well, if I hadn't been on Twitter, I wouldn't have known he was on there. But
new phone case and new screen. Thank you, man. That is service right there. I'm on the air and look at this. She did it all. Amazing. Wow. Okay, Papa Dude, do you follow Nicole the Jockey on Twitter?
I do not.
Magic thinks you ought to do that.
Okay.
I'll let him explain why he thinks you need to do that.
Okay.
And does Papa Dude follow Danhausen on Twitter?
And I don't need to do that. So
All right. Well, if people were wanting it, we made it happen. Well, you made it happen. You did it on your own. I was
It
impressed.
that was pretty cool. I didn't know what I was doing for a long time. I did it in steps, I figured out how to put on what I am,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very
I've
nice.
done that. Yeah. I before we close the Caleb Williams things, I wish the OU people would just get over it. Just get over it. It's done. We're better off, folks. And Lincoln Riley's making an ass out of himself, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let it go. We are better off. We got rid of some problems, and I think Caleb Williams was one of them. I really do. I think he was I admire him. I think he's well spoken, very intelligent. I don't think he gave a shit whether he was at Oklahoma or not. I just don't. So
No, I think he made a business decision. It sounds like he got a really nice NIL deal with
sure.
Beats, with Dr. Dre, who is a big supporter of USC, and
Yeah.
I think he probably knew that was going to happen when
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley got there. And I think the only thing that I kind of hated is I think they knew for a while where he was going, and they waited to announce
Yeah,
it.
I don't get that.
I think
we don't need to be mad anymore. It's
no.
done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just move on. And it's like I tweeted, how about that? I just said that. Like I tweeted, okay, what did he do in the two biggest games of the year? I mean, Baylor, he was god awful in that.
He got pulled from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were behind at the half at Kansas. He was absolutely pathetic in that, almost the whole game. He wasn't any good.
Yeah.
And at Oklahoma State, he was spotty. He did a lot of good things. He played all right down there. But, I mean, he's not Superman. He's not proven he can do anything. So
we had under 100 yards passing at home against Iowa State. That's
absolutely. I forgot that. He was awful in that game, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, for a kid that has played, 7.5 games, something like that, to be on Good Morning America, it was a slow news day, folks.
The bloom really fell off the rose the last 3 games. He was playing great, and take the Kansas game for what it was. Nobody played any good in that game. And then the Baylor game, and then Iowa State, we won, but we were awful. And then obviously the game at Oklahoma State. So I'm with you. I'm not that upset about it.
I think you need to also take into consideration he didn't have any coaching either.
Well, that's true. And now he's going to USC where he has the same coach.
Exactly.
So, all right. We're going to move on since we've moved on from Caleb Williams. You could tell we keep talking about it. We're going to move on. And we're gonna do this game called the Super Bowl. That's right. The final NFL game of the year is upon us. I've got it pulled up now on the website. By the way, every day you can go get Papa Dude's best bets and parlays for the NBA and college basketball. He's got those up there right now. You also get free picks from all of us for all the games on NHL, NFL, NBA, and NCAA basketball going on right now. But I'll click on Papa Dude's freshly printed article, as we'll call it. It's Super Bowl day. The Bengals and the Rams right now. The Rams are a 4-point favorite. They were 4.5, but now they're down to 4. Some books have them at 3.5 actually as well. So that line is going down. But the Rams, the Bengals, it's finally here, Papa Dude. All right. What are we thinking about this game?
Well, as everybody else I always feel this way because of the extra week layoff. It's kind of a letdown to me. I just, I've kind of gotten out of the football mode. Do you feel that way too? I mean,
yeah, I do.
Go on.
I always feel that way with the college football national championship too.
Yeah.
It's so far removed from the regular season. You kind of get out of the mood.
And these playoffs have been the best I can remember as far as the quality of the games. We were on such a high, and then you take a whole week off and you forget about what's going on. I really think the NFL needs to play this game the very next week. I really do. And then they have it. Then you could always highlight that wonderful Pro Bowl on this Sunday.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, getting into this, I couldn't find a whole lot of differences as I went through these matchups, to be honest. Quarterback, do you see much difference?
No, I think quarterback pretty evenly matched in this spot.
Yeah.
I think both of them very, very good. Stafford has
Yeah.
the experience, but not the playoff / Super Bowl experience, but he does
No.
have the overall experience edge.
He's played more. He's taken more snaps, and that's it.
Mhm. Yeah.
As far as
Yeah. Well, just to interrupt you real quick, you could probably make a case Joe Burrow's played in bigger games than Matt Stafford.
I think you're right.
When you look at it as a whole and where Joe Burrow went to college and the success they had,
Yep.
those are bigger games than Matt Stafford's been in.
Yeah, I think you could make an argument that they have an advantage at quarterback. I do. But
Probably overall is a little at this point his career has more upside. Yeah, I think it's close though.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I didn't give an advantage to either side. Running back, I don't think there's an issue there. I think Cincinnati's got an edge. Mixon, I think I would not be surprised to see them give him a bigger role in this game because they've got to run the ball. They have to be able to run the ball. If they can run the ball, then that's going to set everything else up. And also it'll cut down on the pass rush from the Rams. So I kind of think you're going to see him in an expanded role. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them throwing the ball to him or Pirine out of the backfield like they did at Kansas City. So I think you're going to see a little bit of that. Receivers, you got to give, I think, the advantage to the Rams, but it's not one-sided by any stretch. The Cincinnati receivers are good, but when you got Kupp, and I hate to say this, I really do, but Beckham has helped them. He really has. He's playing well. He's fit in. LA probably suits him a little better than where he was at. So I like the Rams there. Offensive line, it's always hard for me to rate that very much. Defensively, I thought the Bengals were fantastic in Kansas City. They proved a lot to me. So going through all that, I think this is going to be a heck of a game. I really do. There's no home field advantage, even though the game's played in LA. There's just not, except the Rams don't have to travel. But they may have more distractions because the game is there. You want my prediction?
I do.
I'm going Bengals. I'm taking them. They proved it to me. And I know you're going Rams, and that's fine because this is a toss-up game, in my opinion. And the reason I'm going with the Bengals, they impressed me so much in Kansas City with that comeback. And that was my question on them. Were they ready for this moment? And I don't know how you're going to get a bigger moment than what they had in Kansas City. They were beat. So that's why I'm picking them. I really don't. I think I can really sit back and enjoy it. I really do. And that's my go. So tell us what you're thinking. What's your thinking?
Okay. So here's the deal. I think there's one key to the game, and that's the Cincinnati running game. They have to run it, and they have to run it well. The way I look at it, Cincinnati defense, they're going to give up enough points to where the Rams are going to have a shot to win if the Rams defensive front is able to handle the Bengals. And that's the key. So can they protect Joe Burrow? They shouldn't be able to. They haven't been able to the whole playoffs, and now they're facing the best front that they faced. So if they wreak havoc, they're not going to be able to score enough points to win this game. They're just not. But how do you counteract that? You run the ball. You come out and run and run and run. That's going to take Joe Burrow out of it a little bit, but that's their way to win is run the ball.
They got a guy that can do it.
They do, but do they have a line that can really block them up? I'm not sure. I really think that's. You said, hey, I don't see a lot of mismatches, or I think it's pretty even. I think that's the one matchup: the defensive front for the Rams versus the offensive line for the Bengals. I think that's going to be the big key. I think the Rams will be able to control the line of scrimmage on defense. And if they can, and they keep from giving them points, I think they cover. I don't think it's going to be a 20-point game by any means.
Oh, no.
But I think the Rams can win by 7 to 10 points because I do think they're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage. And, I heard newly OU head coach Brent Venables talk about what it takes to win a championship. And I've heard many coaches that win championships Well, I'll tell you, it starts on the line of scrimmage. You can have all the flash you want everywhere on the field, but if you are getting beat up front, you are going to lose most times. You look at the line for the Bengals and how bad it's been, and then you look at how good the defensive line has been for the Rams. I just got to go with that angle, and that's why I'm taking the Rams. I have them at -4.5. Unfortunately, that's went down. I could have got them at -3.5 at some books, or 4, but I have them at 4.5, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
I just think
what you say makes sense. It does.
I mean, again, football sometimes it is pretty simple. If you can't block the people up front, you have no chance for success, and that's what it comes down to. Now, if they can run it and if they can protect, I do think Ja'Marr Chase could have a big game, because I don't think the Rams are great in the secondary.
No, they're not.
I think they're great up front, and so that's the whole key. It's if you can counteract their pass rush and keep them off balance up front, you can move the ball on them. We've seen teams do it, but we've seen stationary quarterbacks with not much running game. Let's talk about Tampa, even San Francisco a little bit. They couldn't have a ton of success. And to me, I think the Bengals are going to have to score high 20s to win this game. Like I have like a 28-17 type final for me. What are you looking at? Like, what's your final score thought?
Yeah, I think 24-21, something like that.
Yeah. And so again, even in my opinion, if the Rams get in the mid-20s, the game's over. I just don't think the Bengals are going to be able to score enough. And that's not even a disrespect on them. I love their skill position players. I'm a huge Joe Burrow guy. Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine, folks, they went to Oklahoma. So you know who I'm rooting for, right? Yeah. Ja'Marr Chase is fantastic. But
I will say this. I would like to see the Rams win in a way. I mean, I'm not rooting for anybody, to be honest. I really am not. This is a game I can just sit and watch and enjoy, because I don't have a rooting interest involved unless Joe Mixon and P. Reiner do something really, really big. But I would like to see Stafford win it, because I think the guy is genuinely a good person. He went through so much crap in Detroit, and I think it would be great if he went out and won a Super Bowl. That'd get everybody shut up about him. As long as he doesn't throw the winning touchdown to Odell Beckham, everything will be all right.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, listen, like Mark brings us up, and our family's the same way, talking about a lot of people in the St. Louis area, myself included, are all for the Bengals. Kroenke karma. The problem I guess I have with it is I never was a huge Rams fan, so I can't get into that aspect of it. And I kind of like a lot of the players besides OBJ on the Rams. Yeah. That's the other thing. I like their players. I don't know how you can't like Cooper Kupp. You know,
what a player.
And what's Matt Stafford ever done to get hate? No. You know, like
that's right. That's why it's just one of the and then you turn around and you like the guys on the Bengals too. I mean, Burrow is first class. The guy is first class.
Yeah, and you know, you got great players: Ja'Marr Chase, Joe Mixon, and Burrow. Yeah, it's kind of like, this is going to be fun to watch. I get Rams fans from St. Louis that are pissed, but I can't get there with it. I really can't.
Well, I think the reason I can't get there, I wasn't a huge St. Louis Rams fan. I just wasn't. And I don't really know why. I mean, I liked them when they were on their Super Bowl run. You know, that was an exciting team to watch, but I never was thrilled with them. So when they moved, it pissed me off because I thought it was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Because they were holding the city. No, correct me if I'm wrong. They were holding the city of St. Louis ransom, I think, wanting them to build a stadium for them. Wasn't that the deal?
Correct. Yeah.
And they refused to do that because they had a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe they built the stadium in the wrong place. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it was a dome was part of the problem. And it wasn't in a real good part of St. Louis, but it wasn't that bad. But so that was the part that made me mad. And then the fact they're going to LA, that they don't deserve a team. So anyway.
I think Mark Yeah, I agree. And I think Mark makes a good point. He talks about the game. The Rams have played Kyler Murray, who played awful
True.
and really was awful the last 6, 7 games of the year. Then they played Brady, who showed his age. And like we said, it was a bad matchup. They couldn't run the ball, and he can't move. And that's a bad matchup for the Rams. It just is. That's why the Rams beat him twice. It's very simple.
Yep.
It's not Stafford out-dueled Brady. It's their defense was a terrible matchup for the Bucs offense.
Yeah, it was.
And then, of course, Jimmy G, who's just not very good. So this is going to be the toughest quarterback they will have faced in the postseason. And again, I mean, it all comes down. Can the Bengals establish the running game and then Burrow be able to keep them off balance?
Let me ask you this while we're at it. What if they were playing the Chiefs? Would you feel the same?
No, because you got a quarterback who's a little bit more mobile. No, I wouldn't feel quite the same. I would. It would depend on the line. I kind of was leaning Rams to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl because I do think their line would be able to handle them. But the line, it's like the betting line would be so much different. It's hard for me to say.
Oh, it would be, wouldn't it?
I would think the Rams would be about a 3-point underdog if they're playing.
I do too. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
When Burrow is probably as good as Mahomes, and don't you think they would be favored? The Chiefs would because of Mahomes.
Burrow had a season that was better than Mahomes.
I know.
Yeah,
and that's just the way things. Is the Chiefs they're always favored, and I think it's because of offense. I think that's what drives those lines. A little bit. And I'm like you. I think the Rams could have beat the Chiefs. I really do.
Yeah. Isaac says, breaking news. Isaac has just joined Twitter. Boy. Welcome to Twitter, right, Isaac. Mark, to elaborate on the St. Louis situation, he says, I don't dislike the players at all on the Rams. Kroenke lied to the fans about a new stadium here for years, while the whole time wanting to move back to LA. I'm a Broncos fan. But Kroenke was completely two-faced in St. Louis. So there you go. True. Little clarification. Jason Howell says Papa Dude has already muted Curtis Callaward. Is that true? Have you muted Magic already?
Well, if I did, it was totally by mistake. I mean, I didn't know I did it. How would you know? How do you know?
Jason, he has it because he doesn't know how to do that.
So. No, well, I could have hit something by mistake.
Oh, all right.
I have Magic. I'm sorry.
What is Papa Dude's Twitter? It's at Halterman_Mike, correct?
Yeah. Can you just type in Papa Dude?
Maybe not. I don't know about that.
Just type in my name, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts? You're going Bengals. I'm going Rams. Any final thoughts? We
can't miss.
That's true. Yeah, we're set up.
So that's kind of why I took the Bengals.
So, okay, well, perfect. So as I talk here and we transition to some college basketball, you can see here up on the website right now, if you click on NFL free picks, you got Papa Dude's pick and my pick up there. We'll have the whole team's picks up there by the time the game gets here. So make sure to check Saturday or the day of the game Sunday on this on this site right here. And it's racingdudes.com/free NFL picks. And we'll have picks from all the gang here. So you get all of our picks before the big one starts. So it's going to be a fun Sunday. It always is, so we'll see what happens there. All right, let's go college basketball. Top 25 Saturday action. We'll go through that again a little quicker today since we had something else to talk about besides college basketball like last week. So, all right, let's kick it off, and we'll kick it off with the team that we care about the most, OU. They got a huge win last night. We didn't talk about this. We got a huge win over number 9 Texas Tech last night in Norman. So guess what? Now your reward is you got to go on the road to take on number 8 Kansas, who since losing to Kentucky has been pretty darn good. What do you think is going to happen in Lawrence on Saturday?
Well, first of all, I went against everything that I do, and my best bet of the day yesterday was Texas Tech over Oklahoma, because I didn't see any way the Sooners could. They've been playing so bad and Texas Tech have been playing so well, and everything Texas Tech does is our weakness, and I just did not think we could beat them, and then we just whomped them. They look like us and we look like them.
Mm-hmm.
It shows you what happens when you shoot the basketball and you make them. And that's what OU did last night. Davis, or what's his name? I can't think of his name. The kid that hit all the threes.
Mm-hmm. Gibson.
Gibson sat out there and hit 8 threes. And they just played very, very well last night. And OU, I knew they would play hard. That is one thing they do. They're just short on talent, and that's going to kill them when they go into Lawrence Saturday, I'm afraid. Here's what I think will happen. They'll hang around and scrap them and make Kansas look kind of bad for a while, and about the 10-minute mark of the second half, it'll be like 46-40. And then about the 4-minute mark of the second half, it'll be 61-42. Something to that effect. And I think that's what's going to happen. So I don't give OU much of a chance at Kansas. OU, had they won at Oklahoma State and had they beat TCU at home, I think they'd be a lock for the tournament. But I just don't see it.
Right now, coming into this week, they were on the last 4 out in Joe Lunardi's bracketology. So a win over Texas Tech probably puts them, in the tournament as of right now. So we'll see. A win at Kansas would they've got a great shot.
They got a great shot. That's the kind of win they got to get.
Well, they also have an opportunity to beat Texas next Tuesday as well.
They do.
Those are 2 huge games
coming up. Still got to go to Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when you're in the Big 12, you've always got, and you're a decent team. If you can win a couple and then beat the teams you're supposed to, you don't have to win very many games to get into the tournament because that league is so tough. So they still have a shot. Yeah, you're right. If they win this one, they're in. Unless they don't win anything else. You got to remember, with OU, every game's tough. It doesn't matter who they're playing. It just doesn't matter. Every game's going to be close. So it's going to come down to, can you make shots?
Mm-hmm.
And they did last night. So
they did last night. Hopefully they can keep doing it. They're not going to win at Kansas. No. I think George Washington was president the last time OU basketball won at Kansas. So
they have not won there very often.
It's not going to happen. Buddy Hield couldn't go up there and win. Blake Griffin couldn't go up there and win. They're not winning that game.
So. They win about as much at Kansas in basketball as Kansas wins at Norman in football.
Yeah, never. So let's see. But that'll be a good game. That'll be a good game. We'll see what happens there. I do think they'll play hard, but they're going to get beat. All right, Texas A&M and Auburn. Auburn goes down. They won't be number 1 for long. This will be their last game, probably. Number 1. They got beat to Arkansas in overtime. Hell of a game for the Razorbacks. But Texas A&M comes calling to Auburn this weekend. I think it's a big bounce back game. I look for Auburn to dominate this one. What about you?
Well, I tell you what. I watched all of the Arkansas game. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to watch it?
Every bit of it.
And I want to ask your opinion on something. I'm not a Bruce Pearl fan. I don't know how good a coach he is. I think he's pretty good. Did you get the impression he didn't care whether they won that game or not? I thought he coached like it.
He didn't. I think
he didn't call timeouts.
What you call coaching, I don't think he coached. He just kind of stood over there.
Well, what I'm getting at is, if I was coaching Auburn, I wouldn't throw a game I would. So I wouldn't want to be number 1. I just wouldn't. I would not want to go into the tournament as the number 1 team in the country. I just wouldn't, because Auburn's not in this situation very often. I'd rather be 2 or 3. Now, I don't know if he's thinking like that, but what I'm getting at, if you watch the game, Auburn got the ball at the end of regulation with 16, 17 seconds left?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't call a timeout. And you've got this mammoth guy in the middle who is so good. Wouldn't you have called timeout and run something through him? Mm-hmm. Instead, the point guard, whatever it was, just stood out there and dribbled the time away and then fired, a 35-footer?
Yeah, it was from the logo. It was a long 3.
It was bizarre. Didn't you think? They didn't run a thing.
No. I thought it was really odd. And I just kind of think I don't know. I was just watching that like in disbelief, like, well, you're not even going to try to do anything. Why not take it to the basket?
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't figure it
And
out. It was
then-
tied. The game was tied. They didn't need a three.
I couldn't believe it. And then in overtime, and here's another thing: you're on the road, you're playing a team that's playing their butts off, and you got a chance to beat them at the end of regulation. You don't want to go into overtime against them.
Right.
You got to call a timeout. Then in the overtime, and I don't want to take anything away from Arkansas. They were great. In the overtime, he never called a timeout, and they were thrashing around. They were one-on-one. They weren't running anything, throwing up bricks, and they still hung in there and almost won it. I just thought that it was almost like, okay, let's go ahead and lose this, and then we'll get going again. Now, they haven't been playing very good. So I think the pressure's got them a little bit. I'm with you. We're taking too long. I'm with you. I think they come back and kill Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So,
I don't love A&M anyway. So,
really,
you know,
they're
even
really falling apart. They really
yeah,
are.
they're not that good anyway. So, breaking news, Magic says James Harden to the 76ers for Simmons. I think that's a great trade.
Trade for the Nets.
Yeah, that's a very good trade for the Nets.
Yeah, I wish Simmons could play tonight. I went ahead. I picked Brooklyn tonight because I'd heard Harden wasn't going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've watched him much, probably not. But Harden is a shell of himself. I think he's about had it. So I think, of course, the Sixers had to get rid of Simmons too, right? So that was kind of one team getting rid of one of their bad guys and flip-flopping it for the other team. So anyway, now Simmons is younger, may get new life, and may really pump some energy into the Nets.
They had to do something. They are horrible right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mark has a good question. Is that bad coaching or is it letting the players play?
It's bad coaching, Mark.
Yeah.
When you don't call timeout on the road, you got a chance to win in regulation, and you don't set up some sort of a play, that's bad coaching. Now, if you want to argue the point in overtime, that's different. But you got to set, especially when you're sitting there, you're standing there, and you're watching this guy with the ball just dribble.
Yeah.
Just stand out there and dribble. You know, even if it's 8 seconds left, you got plenty of time to set up a play.
Yeah. That was the thing. As you see that thing winding down and you are starting to see that they're not doing anything, you call it, but honestly, there is no such thing as letting the players play. You're the head coach. It's 15 seconds. You call a timeout every single time, period.
Yeah, I think you do.
That's not overcoaching. That's called setting up your best play. You call timeout, you come out of it, and then if they still don't do anything, well, shit, what are you going to do? But you have to set up a play. You just have to. It was awful.
I don't think that loss is going to hurt Auburn. I don't.
Listen, it's college basketball. It
Oh,
doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Now, if they lose 5 in a row and then and instead of a 1 seed, they're a 4 seed, then that matters. But it doesn't matter. All right, let's move on here. Texas and Baylor, big rivalry game. Baylor is up and down. Texas is, they're Texas. They're better this year for sure. They're still not great. They go to Baylor. What do you think? Can the Longhorns pull an upset here over the Bears?
Pretty impressed with both teams this week, and I thought Baylor would struggle in Kansas State because everybody does, and they won pretty easy. I think they're going to beat Texas in this game, but I wouldn't bet a nickel on it. This is one you stay away from.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Baylor is just a weird team this year, so we'll see what happens. I think the Longhorns
they've had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I think the Longhorns keep it close.
Yeah.
All right, Seton Hall, Villanova. I've watched Seton Hall a little bit this week. I kind of like them. Villanova, they are who they are. What do you think? Any upset possibility here?
You bet. The Big East is like the Big 12. I mean, it's dog eat dog. All these teams are good. I'll go with the home court. I don't think Seton Hall is going to go in and beat Villanova. This is a big game for both of them. I'll take Villanova in this one.
Seton Hall, they're kind of just a team every year. It's like, they're pretty good. They're competitive. They can beat you if you have a bad night or just if they come out hot. We'll see. Speaking of teams that are hot, and this is a team nobody's really talking about. How about Rutgers?
That's
They've won 2 in a row against Michigan State, Ohio State, 2 ranked teams.
Ranked
Now they
teams.
go on the road to take on Wisconsin. Can they make it 3 in a row against 3 ranked teams in a row?
I tell you, I was shocked that they beat Michigan State the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
I think Michigan State was a 2-point favorite going in there, and Rutgers had been playing bad. And they drilled them. They beat them by 20. And I was shocked. And then last night, to win again like they did. Now, I don't think Ohio State's that good. I wasn't quite as shocked last night. Now, I'll say this, Ohio State blew that game. They had a pretty sizable lead, good enough to win, and they didn't. Wisconsin's a different animal. They play the same every night. They don't really have an off night. If they get beat, somebody just beats them. So I think the bubble will bust at Madison. I think Wisconsin handles them.
I'll take Wisconsin. I'm very curious to see the line because if it's very many, I'm going to take Rutgers. I picked them to beat Ohio State the other night and made me look good. I'm kind of on that Rutgers bandwagon.
If they go in there and beat Wisconsin, they're then 15-9, 3 straight wins over ranked teams. How are they going to deny them from the tournament if they go ahead and finish out the season the way they should? They're going to make it.
Absolutely. I totally agree. All right, let's move on. Houston will host Memphis. We've kind of talked about on the show, Memphis struggling a little bit, kind of overrated. Penny Hardaway, we had a discussion on that as a coach. He might be overrated. Houston, holy hell, blew a game. What was that? Was that last night? Yeah, that was last night. Totally blew, was way ahead and blew a game. Now they're at home. I think they bounce back and win this one pretty easily.
Yeah, they were up like, 15 there once with about 8 minutes to go, I think, something like that. Maybe a little more than that. And can't believe I'm going to say this. I almost tweeted Kelvin Sampson, greatest coach I've ever seen. Still, my thoughts haven't changed on that, but you don't see Kelvin's teams disintegrate like that very often. They might go into, and it kind of happened last night. They went on a stretch where they couldn't score, but they usually are tough enough on defense to hold that kind of a lead, and they didn't. Now, SMU really played good, and they are good.
Good team, yep.
Yep. So that may be a game Houston needed to get beat, get snapped back into reality. Memphis is playing good. They're playing much better. The reporters got off Penny's ass, and they're playing a lot better now. And that'll be a tough game because Memphis has athletes.
Yeah.
But I would not bet against Houston coming off a loss.
Yeah, I think Houston gets it done. All right, let's talk about this game because we talked about Michigan State and how they struggled against Rutgers. Now, Saturday, they're going to host Indiana, a team that also needs a win. So this will be a really good game, I think. Michigan State, Indiana, both teams kind of need a victory. And, of course, Michigan State coming off the loss at home against Wisconsin. Can they right the ship here against the Hoosiers?
They do not look good at all. And Indiana doesn't either.
No.
There are 2 teams right now that are really fading. Indiana's one of them, and Iowa State in the Big 12 is the other one. Iowa State's I think they're in last place in the Big 12.
Well, let's remember with Iowa State, they weren't any good at all last year.
No, they were 13-0 in the non-conference, and they're 3-8 in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Let me check here real quick. I think they are in the cellar. I don't know how you're going to make the tournament if you're in the cellar.
Right.
I just think they're playing their way out of it. Yeah, they are in last place. So I think they're playing their way out of it. And Indiana's dropping 2. Indiana right now is, I think they're 7-6, but they got tough games left. They're not trending in the right direction. Michigan State isn't either, but I think you got to go with the Spartans in this one because they're at home, don't you?
Yeah, I am going to take the Spartans, but I don't think they're very good. And
no, I don't either.
I would be scared to pick them in the tournament. I'm just going to start to warn people right now. But I do think Michigan State wins. It's 2 teams have lost 2 in a row. I think Michigan State being at home will give them the advantage. Yep. Florida goes to Kentucky. This probably won't be much of a game, will it?
Well, Florida's playing a lot better. A lot of people don't, unless you watch it a lot, like I've been doing. Their best player was hurt for a while, and they kept it together, and they won a couple of games to keep that record up there to where they got a shot to make the tournament. They're pretty well coached, but when you say it won't be much of a game, I'm thinking 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Please swing there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be very close. Another game that I don't think will be close. Well, I don't know. At Texas Tech, sometimes they play close games. TCU, Texas Tech. It'd be a huge win if TCU could get it, but Tech coming off a loss, I think rebounds here. What do you think? Do you give the Horned Frogs any shot?
Just simply because of the way they play. Both teams, they don't score a lot of points, and if you don't score a lot of points, sometimes those games get kind of tight. I think Tech wins, but TCU's underrated. They're not bad. They play look at their record in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a winning record. How do you keep them out of the tournament if they continue to do that? And their overall record's good enough. This is a statement game for them. If they can win this, I think they're going to get in. I think Tech will win, but I think it'll be something like 64 to 57 in that range, I think.
Yeah, I think it'll be a kind of a slugfest. I think Texas Tech pulls away late and wins that game. But yeah, I mean, with Texas Tech, it's always going to be low scoring in a battle, it seems like. So, all right, we'll go to a couple of mid-majors that are ranked. Murray State, and I did not realize Murray State was 22-2. That's unbelievable. They go on the road to take on Morehead State. What do you think about this one?
Well, it's a tough game. They play tonight also. Murray State does. Mm-hmm. And they should win tonight. It's on the road too, but it's against Tennessee State. They're not very good. Morehead State's pretty good. So this will be a big test for them coming in there ranked. I don't know how well Morehead State draws. I don't know much about them, but I would think, they'd have a pretty good crowd for a ranked team coming in there that they have a chance to beat. So I doubt if very many ranked teams come into Morehead State. But Murray State is very, very good. If they keep winning, and let's say something happens and they get knocked off in the Ohio Valley Conference Championship, they got to be an at-large team.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to knock out one of these Big Ten teams we've been talking about, or any of those lesser teams in those conferences that are trying to get in. They're going to knock one of them out. So that's something to watch as we go down. I'll take Murray State because they've been very, very good to me when I've bet them.
Magic, I almost said Magic's favorite team, Morehead State, and I knew you would come with the comments. So go Eagles, Magic says. So all right, we'll see what happens there. I knew he was going to do that. All right, we'll move on. By the way, one of Murray State's losses came to Auburn, so they're 22-2 with one of those losses coming to Auburn. That's pretty impressive. All right, Marquette. We talked about Shaka Smart, how good of a job he's done with Marquette this year. They go on the road to take on Butler. Butler, a team that you're probably very familiar with if you follow college basketball at all over the years. They're not that good this year, though, just 11-13. Marquette, like I said, number 18. What do you think? Marquette keep it going in this spot?
I watched them a lot because they're the 6 o'clock game almost every time they play. And the Big East is so fun to watch. They're struggling. They're starting to struggle a little bit. They couldn't hold on at UConn the other night. I'm not high on UConn. That was a game I thought Marquette might cover on. Cost me a parlay, too, that would have paid really well. So I'm kind of pissed off at them. Butler is another one of those teams. They keep the score low. If you don't shoot the ball well, you can get beat. This is one you better watch because they could come in there and lose this. They desperately need to win to get rolling again. I would be scared if I was a Marquette fan going into Butler. They're not very good. They're good enough to beat you.
All right, so Marquette on upset alert this week by Papa Dude. He is thinking Butler could beat Marquette. Well, I'll have to think about that one. I haven't picked these games yet, and I'm going to think about that one very hard. Maybe the Bulldogs will show up.
You're just picking the money line, so I think I'd stay with Marquette.
No. I want the upset. I want Butler on my resume.
Yes, so. All right. I think they got a shot.
Magic, also a big fan of Butler. All right, let's move on to Duke and Boston College. Listen, the Eagles of Boston College, not great. Duke, pretty damn good this year. Tell me that, Duke's not on upset alert, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but I tell you what, they're not. I can't get a feel for them. They blew a game against Virginia. Now, that's another team you better watch because they get on a roll and they are so well coached. They keep the score low. If they're shooting well, they can beat you. Boston College can't. So I think Duke wins. Now Duke plays Clemson.
Right. Yes.
And
Tonight
that-
they play.
Yeah. So
I picked Duke in that game. Who do you think's winning that one?
they should win. Clemson's not very good.
Magic says he's a big Butler fan. Not huge, but big for sure. All right, let's move on. By the way, Magic is filling in for Jared on Blinkers Off. That's coming up in about an hour and a half.
That would be good. That may
So
be must-see watching.
If you want a wild show, that one's going to be good.
You
All
know
right,
what?
let's.
I got a great idea
Okay.
for me. I
Okay.
got to take a nap here in a little while, so that might be what I'll do. I'll flip that on there and take
Well,
my
there you go. Yeah, that'd probably be good. All right, let's move on. I put this comment up because Mark and I, we totally agree. I love Arizona. He says Arizona becoming sleeper team to win it all. Lots of size and depth. They have a lot of foreign talent on that team. They can shoot or play big. If they struggle on offense, they can win scrappy defensive games. I agree with all of it.
Mhm.
All leading to them going to Washington this weekend. And I obviously I'm taking Arizona. They're my team right now.
Well, the game you better watch is the one tonight because Washington State's better than Washington.
Correct.
Here's the problem. Arizona has their last 3 games were victories over, at the time, number 3 UCLA,
Mm-hmm.
top 25 USC, and then they had to turn around Monday night. I think it was Monday,
Yep.
and play their arch rival Arizona State, and Arizona State gave them a heck of a game. So they're coming off 3 hard-earned wins and have to go to Washington State and play a 14-17 tonight. Now, I think they win, and I agree with everything Mark said and you've said too. I think Arizona is really good. This could be a toughie if they're not ready to play. I don't know if anybody in Pullman, Washington cares about Washington State basketball. I don't know what that crowd might be like tonight.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tough one for Arizona. I don't think the Washington game is, but I think the Washington State game tonight's the toughie.
You know, I think if I was in Pullman tonight with nothing to do, I'd go watch this game. So
What
I think
would you have to do in Pullman?
exactly what I was thinking. I think I would go watch it. It's a Thursday night in Pullman, Washington.
What are
Now,
the ticket- oh, you don't have that up. I just wonder what you get. You can get a ticket in Washington for $12.
yeah, let's see here. I will look that up. Hold on. Stand by. I've got my other browser up.
This will tell us if they're interested.
Shit, that's just gives me the line. Hold on. Arizona tonight, if you wanted to know, 7-point favorite.
And
Yeah,
that's,
7.
that's a tricky line right there. I think they win. I think they cover it, but
Oddly enough. Oh, here, $19. You can get in for $19.
listen, it's big time in Pullman, Washington. If it's $19 for a basketball ticket.
Yeah, so they clearly don't care. So
By
maybe
the
that
way-
won't be much of a game tonight.
By the
Let's
way,
see.
OU had a huge crowd in there last night. Looked like what, about 500?
Yeah, and they were all Texas Tech people.
Yeah.
So. If you're interested in the Arizona Washington State game, 8:00 tonight on Fox Sports 1.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think Arizona's definitely a number 1 seed
Yeah.
at this time.
So that'll be good. And then, like I said, this game will be on at 5:00 on the Pac-12 network if you care about watching Arizona and Washington on Saturday. All right. Oh, it's the big one. Maybe not so much in basketball. Ohio State and Michigan. I don't know if anybody really cares about basketball, but Ohio State undefeated, or excuse me, ranked number 16. They're not undefeated. They take on Michigan, who's 12-9. I think this is a spot where Michigan wins. And they're another one. They play tonight. They play Purdue. So they get Purdue and Ohio State back to back. This is it for Michigan. They got to win these games to make the tournament, I think. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think Ohio State's the most overrated team in basketball.
I agree.
If they weren't Ohio State, they would not be ranked. So again, you got your AP kooks that are picking basketball games too. And I've been on a rant that Arkansas should have been in there way before they're going to get in.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think a lot depends on how Michigan plays tonight. And what do you think about that one? Now they just played Purdue about a week ago at Purdue in a 6-point game. Now they got them tonight at home. Their backs are against the wall. They have enough talent to beat Purdue, but I don't know whether they do. So let's say they get beat to that one. Are they going to be able to get back up for this one? Because this is not football.
Right.
So I don't know how to go. I think I'd take Michigan in this game.
I think I'm taking Michigan in this game. Tonight against Purdue, I don't think so.
I can't pick against Purdue. I just can't.
No, I think they're really, really good. We've talked about them a lot. I think they're too good. So I'm going to take Purdue tonight, and then I'm going to take Michigan against Ohio State.
Well, I tell you what I did on my picks, and it's totally hypocritical. I picked Purdue in my, like I'm doing right now. I'm doing all the top 25 games.
Right.
Picking the spreads. So I picked them. But in my parlay, I did a 2-team Big Ten upset parlay. I picked Michigan.
Well, with the points, you picked Michigan. Well, that makes sense.
That was the money lines. What I picked the money line.
Right. Yeah.
And then I went with Maryland over Iowa. The other one, because that game's in Maryland. So
I think let me look that one up. I think I picked Iowa in that game.
Well, I went with the underdog because I could get some value.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it'll be a good game. That one's one I analyzed for. No, I did pick Maryland. That's right. I changed that one. Yeah, I did pick Maryland. So you can't lose if you and I both are on Maryland tonight. We'll see what happens. North Dakota State and Western Illinois. That's gonna be a hell of a game tonight too.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Let's knock these last four out here on Saturday.
Right.
Vanderbilt pretty good. For their record, 13-10, but they're a pretty good team, really. They go to Tennessee. I think Tennessee is pretty good as well. They're playing a little bit better. What do you think's going to happen in this one?
It's going to just depend on what the spread is. Tennessee's going to win.
Yeah.
It's just going to depend on what the spread is.
Tennessee's won 3 in a row. Have beaten better teams in that time than Vanderbilt. So we'll see what happens.
Was it last night or the night before they went to Mississippi State? And that was a good win for them.
Yeah, no question. Question. On the road and won. And I picked Mississippi State. So, Tennessee, they're kind of just a tough. I don't think they're great. Perfect timing for Mark. Tennessee won a scrappy road game last night in Starkville. They look good. Yeah, they are. They're just kind of scrappy.
They're pretty good.
All right. Speaking of teams that we kind of like, our friend, what was his name? Waylon is not here today to represent Providence, but we'll talk about him anyway. Providence is now 20-2. They're number 11 team in the country. They host DePaul. DePaul, their Big East record isn't great, but they're not a horrible team.
No, they're not.
Providence and DePaul. What do you think about this one?
The Friars better be ready.
You think?
DePaul upset somebody the other day on the road. I can't remember who it was, and then they killed Georgetown. I don't think they killed them, but they beat them last night. Georgetown's terrible. Yeah, if they're not ready, DePaul can beat you. They're not a bad team. I'm taking Providence all the way. But again, look at the line. If it's like 12, 11, 12, I don't think it will be. But if it is, you better think about betting DePaul on points because I don't know whether they slaughter them or not.
Simon chimes in and says he's taking Providence. DePaul beat Xavier last weekend.
See, that's a really good win, and that was at Xavier.
Yes.
So that's a pretty good. They're not bad. I've seen them play a lot. They're the type of team too that stay with you. If you can hang in there, they just don't have enough to beat you if you're a pretty good team. But they might be able to cover a double-digit spread if that's what it is. I think it'll be more like 8.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. Last two, St. Mary's, they are ranked. They take on Gonzaga. Gonzaga number 2. They may move out to number 1 with a couple of wins. By the way, both these teams do play tonight as well in games they are heavily, heavily favored in. So both teams will probably win tonight and set up a 20-5 versus 20-2 matchup. That's really more all you could ask for at a West Coast Conference game. Can St. Mary's give Gonzaga a game on Saturday?
No.
Okay, I don't think so either. I think Gonzaga wins that game easily.
Did you see on the money line, if you want to bet Gonzaga to win $100, you'd have to put down $100,000.
Yes, I did see that.
Why is that for them and nobody else?
Oh, because they're playing a team that's just really, really bad.
There's other teams that are 32.5-point favorites, and you don't have to bet $100,000. Their lines are crazy.
Well, they're just such a heavy favorite against all those teams. Now, you might know.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
You might note these two teams, St. Mary's and Gonzaga, will play each other again on Saturday, February 26th, and that game's at St. Mary's. So if you're wanting to bet Gonzaga with a reasonable line or bet against them, February 26th is your spot.
And that's probably the only one you're going to get. So
no doubt.
Yeah. I would say they'll be 15-point favorites in this one, probably. Mm-hmm. St. Mary's got beat the other night. I think it was Wednesday night. What is it? Thursday? It was Tuesday night. Yep. Santa Clara beat them. And the Santa Clara is pretty good. I think that's a rivalry, too. But anyway, tonight, Gonzaga's a 32.5-point favorite. I'm sorry. I got to take the other team. That's a lot of points.
I'll take Gonzaga.
Yeah, I can see a back door coming in and maybe losing by 31.
Yeah, okay, that could be. All right, final game, and we're big. We're all UCLA Bruins Saturday at 9:00. The Bruins on the road, so to speak, to take on USC. We're all Bruins. I'm with the Bruins. Listen, both these teams are kind of struggling, though, to be serious. Neither one playing very well.
No. I don't know what kind of home court advantage there is in these games between these two teams. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not much.
No, I wouldn't think so either. I think UCLA is better, but they are struggling. USC's got some really funky losses. They've lost to Stanford twice, and it could be matchup problems. I'll take UCLA in this one. I don't know what the line is, but it's pretty. I don't think you better bet this one. This is a toughie, depending on what the line is.
UCLA, they'll win by probably 50. All right. Dan says the Zags lose one of these conference games almost every year to either St. Mary's or BYU. Yeah, I think that February 26th, St. Mary's, last game of the regular season. Who knows? They probably got everything locked up. That could be the one that they lose. So keep an eye on it. I agree. All right. That's college basketball for this weekend. Boy, we've done it again. We've almost gone an hour, so we filled the time. Congratulations to us. We are on.
I don't know why you worry about that. I don't.
I know. Now we'll go over 15 minutes. Watch this. So, any final thoughts from you before we log off? I have one.
I thought we were going to do Oakland.
No, we're not doing Oakland.
Why did you tell me that? I put that on there, and I've been studied that. I studied that for an hour. I'm going to tell you who I'm going to pick.
Let's see. Oh, you said Super Bowl week in college basketball, Oakland, and whatever. Oh, I didn't even read the Oakland part. Okay, go ahead.
What do you want to talk about? Just a second here. Mark's mentioned Wyoming again.
Okay.
I did watch that overtime game between Wyoming and Utah State the other night. That was a tremendous game. And by the way, Mark, I heard him analyzing. I don't know who those guys were. They were analyzing the Mountain West, and they think 4 teams are going to get in from the Mountain West. In fact, they've already, I guess it's Joe Lenardi or whoever it is that does the bracket. He's got them. Oh, has he got
9?
That's ridiculous. They should be a lot higher than number 9. I mean, that's crazy. They should be a 5 or 6, I would think. But anyway, if they get 4 teams in out of the Mountain West, that's going to hurt some of these other conferences. So, that's something about hockey suspensions on here. You know anything about that?
I guess you're probably talking about Marchand getting Brad Marchand from Boston getting suspended for a high stick on Tristan Yari, the goaltender for Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's
a goaltender, huh? That's pretty good. Or was it an accident or
no? He was. Okay. Yari was trying to flip the puck up to a fan. The game was over, and he whacked him. So he's
Mark's got him here. I knew he would.
Yeah.
Well, I think if Wyoming keeps winning, they'll move up.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. Isaac wants to let us know once again that James Harden is going to the 76ers for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. Holy cow.
Why would they give up that much for that clown?
Wow, that's a lot.
It's the first-round picks I don't get. Seth Curry's he's still pretty good.
I can't believe they gave up all that for James.
No, there must be some salary dumps there. Well, I don't know, though. They're picking up crazy. Maybe the Nets are paying a lot of his salary. I don't know.
Wow. I hate that trade for the Sixers.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No.
Now, if I was the Nets, I'd have got rid of Kyrie Irving too,
yeah.
and then
Man,
held on
that's
to
wild.
Durant back. That is a fascinating trade. It really is.
Jason says, for some reason, I care more about the second race at Yonkers tonight than a trade of two a-holes in the NBA. Okay, who are you? Are you picking? You picking the Razorback?
Do what?
Are you talking about the Razorback?
Baracoa too.
Okay, who you like?
I like Coach in the
Coach.
Baracoa.
Yeah, Bayakoa. I like Coach as
How you
well.
pronounce it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I like Coach as well. Won 2 in a row. Seems to be living up to the hype she kind of had last year, where she didn't live up to it. Running a heck of a lot better this year. Yeah. I like her. Razorback, who you got?
Okay, now the Razorback is a cool race.
Great race. Totally
yeah,
agree.
and those are all horses we all love.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them. Got a sleeper in there.
Okay.
Now, Plainsman is the favorite. He may win, but I like Lone Rock to win this thing.
I don't know that that's a sleeper.
That's not my sleeper.
Oh, okay. That's who you're picking. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And the reason I did is I always go with horse. Now, I know this is a step up for him. This is a $600,000 race. He doesn't usually run or win those. But my God, I didn't realize he'd won 9 out of his last 11.
Yeah.
And finished second in the other 2.
Yep.
I know some of these races aren't as good as this one, but you got to look at a horse that knows where that finish line is.
Mm-hmm.
The one I'm wondering is Pletcher sending Promise Keeper. Why would he send that horse to Oaklawn if he didn't think the horse could win?
Mm-hmm.
That you got to kind of look at what trainers are thinking, because it costs money to send a horse. I assume that horse was at Gulfstream or wherever Pletcher's at.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put him on an airplane, send him to Hot Springs, Arkansas. That costs a lot of money. So the owners and Pletcher think that horse can win. So I'd keep an eye on him. Now he's coming off a long layoff. Be the only thing.
Yeah, I'm very interested in Promise Keeper and how he does in this race. He was a horse that was getting better last year. He broke the maiden, looked terrible in Tampa, won a nice allowance, and then won the Peter Pan, and then went to the Ohio Derby. And the Ohio Derby drew a really tough field last year, and he got 4th. He only got beat a length. He got
beat a length. Yeah,
and probably gonna get better. He's out of a Curlin dam, so Curlin improved a lot as he got older. Maybe this horse has a little bit of that. Constitution is a sire. I like Promise Keeper as well. I think he's sneaky.
Yeah, I think the fact that that's the race he's putting him in after a layoff tells you he's got to be training very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be ready, or he'd put him in a lesser one somewhere. Wouldn't you think?
I think so. I think this is
that's one to watch. Plainsman definitely has a shot, no doubt.
Yeah,
he would be in my top 3. And Mark's mentioned Rated R Superstar. He's my favorite, one of them. You can't count him out, but this is a tough field. I don't know if he's good enough.
He has trouble, as I'm looking back at him now, he has trouble putting together 2 wins in a row. That's kind of my worry. Plus, this field's a little tougher than what he faced last time out, but I get it. I mean, I get wanting to use him. I don't know let's see what he is. He's 8-1 on the morning line. Well, I mean,
yeah,
at that price.
I think he can win. I just don't think he can win this one.
No, I don't think he's going to be able to beat kind of the quote unquote new shooters in here.
Amazing horse though.
Yeah, he beat like a Thomas Shelby last time out.
Yeah,
I don't think he's quite. Thomas Shelby, I don't think is going to be around in this one. I think horses are better than him.
Yeah,
so going to have to improve. But yeah, I like this horse a lot. And he was 26-1 when he won the 5th season. Pretty incredible.
That was Rated R.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he's just one of those horses that just runs. Does he ever give a bad effort? Not very often.
Not usually, and when he does, it's because they've just got him way.
Yeah, he's way over his head.
Yeah, he's
He always runs
pretty.
his- You know,
Yeah, he's pretty consistent. He'll give you an effort Saturday. It's just going to be
Is
are
he
those
good?
horses a little better?
And the thing, and I know we got to get off here, but when we've mentioned this 2 or 3 times, again, some of these guys are so good at what they do, and Danny Caldwell is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget what he claimed. Radar Superstar. He gave $50,000 for him, and I remember I texted you and I said, "What is Danny doing giving fit?" Because he doesn't do that. He doesn't usually claim a horse for that much money. But he had it what he wanted to do in mind, and he's got his money back a lot of times over since he chose this horse or claimed this horse.
They're pretty good, and I say they, talking about Danny Caldwell and Federico Villafranco, they're pretty good with finding a horse like this.
Mhm.
And it's a little bit older, and it's high caliber. It's not $10,000 claimer. It's in that middle, and then elevating them to this level. They did it with Domain's Wrap as well.
Yeah, and they place it in the right spot. And Danny runs at tracks where this horse can win.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. They take on really tough competition here at Oaklawn these last couple of big stakes. But then they go to Prairie Meadows, and then they go to Remington, and the horse is the favorite usually.
Yeah. Put him in a $100,000 race, stakes race somewhere, and he wins.
Yeah.
And that's what they had in mind. And, but an incredible horse. What is he, 9 now? 9 years old?
Oh, geez. How old is this horse now?
He's been around forever.
He is. 9 years old.
9 years old, and he's in the $600,000 Razorback.
Yeah. He has ran 57 times and has won 10 of those and have hit the board in 28 of 57 races.
And he's been in big time races. He hadn't been in little piddly things. He's been over.
Yeah.
What do you call that, Aaron, when you put him in a race that he doesn't belong? He's
like run over his head or out of his class level.
I mean, how many times did some of these previous trainers put him in a race he couldn't win?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was trained by Kenny McPeak for a while, and that,
that's debatable, right there.
I don't know how mean I want to be here, but that probably a lot of his off the board finishes were because he was in spots that were just stupid. He won the Essex in 2019, made me a nice payout. Yeah, I remember
what was that big race he almost won last year? Was it the Razorback?
It was the Essex.
That was the Essex last year?
In 2021, yeah, he almost won that thing. He got beat by Silver State, who had won 100 in a row at the time.
Absolutely, and just barely lost.
Yeah, really close race.
Anyway, that's the type of horse that, I think thoroughbred horse racing needs more of that.
Oh, for sure.
So many of these great champions, and we all know why, for breeding purposes, they retire way too early, and we only see them as 3-year-olds, maybe 4-year-olds, not very often. And that hurts horse racing, I think. But that's just the game. It's just the way it is, because you see these these American Pharaoh, these kind of horses, and you want to see them again. You're at the track and you go, God, I can't wait to see him till next year. You ain't going to see him next year. So it hurts, but that's the way horse racing is.
And in racing, we don't do a good enough job highlighting these kinds. Like we'll jump on a Whitmore and everybody goes crazy for Whitmore, but no, like the national, that's a weird way to put it, but the big horse racing media, they never talked about Whitmore until he won the Breeders' Cup. Like there's more races outside those 4 or 5 that everybody thinks are the most important ones. And that, like a horse like this, they don't get a lot of love.
Yeah. Just our segment. One more thing. There's very few horses, seriously, that have fans, a lot of fans. And Whitmore had fans at Oaklawn. I mean, lots of them. We're there to watch him run. Because he ran so many times there. And that's what horse racing needs, that kind of stuff.
Yep, no doubt.
He was their horse.
Yep, no question. And that's right. Mark says, more reason why I miss Curlin and Whitmore types. They are fine wines, got better with age, no doubt.
Gun runner.
Gunrunner was definitely another one that just got better and better
Yeah.
the longer they kept him in trade. California Chrome, honestly, was another one.
Yeah.
He got better and better. So
Yeah. Those are the kind of horses I love. The rated R superstars. Yeah.
yep.
They just love to run,
Yep. 9 years old. Just keep on going.
They're like a Tom Brady. They just want to play. They just want to compete. And you don't tell me an animal doesn't want to compete, because they do. Some of them shut her down. They're done. They don't want to run.
Oh, yeah. And that goes to every level. Some of them don't, and they tell you they don't, and they quit. And
they say, I ain't doing this anymore.
Some of them, they're ready to go out there every 3 weeks. They're just ready to go.
I love it.
So,
what's that old horse that Steve Hobby's got? Shindy.
The Chindy, the stable pony. Yeah.
Champion horse.
Right.
And they set the horse out to pasture or whatever, retired it, and the horse couldn't do it.
Right.
Got to be in the barn. Got to be there.
Yep.
What that horse wants to do. So they brought him back as a pony, whatever it is, whatever we call it. So,
Jason says Tacitus. No, he's not who we're talking about. Vino Rosso might make sense, but not Tacitus. No, Jason. No, let him go. Let him go. I think he did retire finally. Okay, that's it. That's all we've got. Big win, by the way. Got my U.S. hockey shirt on. Big first win. They won this morning over in China. They beat China actually 8-0. Really nice win.
But are you talking about the men?
Yeah. Big win for them. Canada also won, and I think United States Canada Friday morning. I think, or it might be Thursday night. The men, and then the women play tomorrow in the quarterfinal games. So
they don't play Canada yet, though. Aren't they in different divisions?
Yeah, I would say the women, it's almost a lock. Canada and the United States for the gold and the women's side of things. So Canada beat us. I mentioned that game. They beat us 4-2 in the preliminary rounds. So
and we outplayed them all over the place.
We outplayed them for the first period. I thought the second and third we didn't play all that well.
I just saw the shots for 53-27.
Yeah, but when you dominate a period and you're behind, usually that's a bad sign. So that's kind of what happened there.
The same way in every sport. So.
Yep, for sure. All right. Anything else before we leave? Is that it?
I think we're good.
All right. And look at this. Jason says you may be a degenerate if you had a 4-team parlay in Olympic men's hockey. Winner. Good job.
You're definitely a degenerate. Yeah.
I watched Denmark. Who did they beat? It was the first game of the men's. I can't remember. Oh, Denmark beat the Czech Republic. It was Denmark's first appearance in the Olympics, and they won. So
the Czech Republic's usually good too.
Yeah, they beat them 2-1. Czech Republic dominated the game, but Denmark beat them. It was really good. Really good game.
Wow.
So great show. Thank you, Mark, for tuning in. And listen, thanks. We are 47 minutes away from Magic and I taking the air for an early edition of Blinkers Off. Can you believe it?
I was wondering why it was at 2:00.
Yeah,
I saw it scheduled and I thought, what's going on?
Well, Jared's very evil, very not nice ex-wife has COVID, and so
he's got kids.
So Jared has the kids.
Yeah, he's got to go get them after school and stuff. Yeah.
Well, they're not in school.
Oh, that's right. They're not old enough.
They're little, so he has them all day.
I thought the oldest one might be in kindergarten or something.
So coming up this year. Okay. So and usually he just gets a bag of Doritos and dumps it on the floor and just lets them eat, and he does the show. But he figured he better not do that. I'm kidding. He doesn't do that. But anyway, So Magic and I coming up in about 45 minutes. Tune in for that. And other than that, that's it.
I'm going to.
All right, guys.
Can you do chat on that too?
Absolutely, you can do chat. Chime in.
Would I know how to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what we'll do. We did this last time Magic was on, and the show lasted 2 hours. Oh, well. At the end of it, after everything, when we're done, and we'll be done in like 45 minutes. It won't be a long show. You can ask Magic any question, and he has to answer it. Anything you want, you can ask.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
So there you go.
I'm going to Missouri Southern tonight. So.
Oh, who they play tonight?
I don't know. I'm just going to go over and watch that girl from Mount Vernon play.
Oh yes. Our alma mater's women's team. Very good. Lacey Stokes, and then the girl from Cassville.
Yeah.
Can't think of her name right now.
Oh, that's temporary plans that could change.
All right.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have fun. Have a good weekend. Go watch the Super Bowl. Gonna be a lot of fun. Watch college basketball as well. Good luck. All your wagers. Okay. See you later. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you wanna bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit